There we go. Hello, hello, hello. There. Hi. Pardon the technical difficulties. Came down here. The professor is in. Yes, he is. Hello, Vancouver by night. Hey there, hi there, ho there. My computer's gotten into the bad habit of crashing randomly, like when I go to start my day. And I think I know what the problem is and I need to address it. So, anyways, hooray. So Saturday afternoon, the professor is in. It's time for some Vampire the Masquerade office hours. Uh, Found that there's, a lot of new people getting into the hobby, and they are, uh, you see the same questions pop up on social media over and over, and um, it's nice being able to, interact with someone. I would say like more one on one in this manner. So, yeah, anyone is more than welcome to come in, hang out, ask questions. I'm all about assisting. Anyways, uh, so I do have a list of questions that were already submitted, either on the Martlet Games Discord or on Twitter or other social media. So I actually do have prepared content for everybody out there. One moment here while I enjoy my coffee. And this will be uploaded onto our VOD for YouTube there. Hey, hey, hey! What's up? How's the audio, everybody? Is it as far as like the background sound? Is that too loud? Just want to know. Audio is good. Seems good to you. Excellent. I'll take that. So there, and yes, I actually made a point to get everything ready in OBS last night. So if I did run into this problem today, uh, yeah, everything would be ready to. How do you want to open this file? Keep using. How do you? Yes, this is how I want to use. There, excellent. Okay, so got quite a few questions here, and I actually do have my phone uh, set just in case anyone decides to text me here too. But so question number one for a rouse check: do you want an Ankh to show? Is there a difference if you get the fancy double star Ankh? All right, so for rouse checks, if you are using numbered dice, they're going to range from, 0 to 9, with zeros being, 10, 1 being, you know, 1, obviously. And then on the. Let me get one of them out here. Okay. There we be. And then on the Vampire the Masquerade Hunger Dice, you've got the your tens would basically be your. This is the Venture dice here. This is the clan symbol with the fangs. That's basically your 10. A rouse check, yes indeed. But so for rouse checks, it doesn't matter if you get the clan symbol with the stars, or if you get the skull there on the hunger dice. There we go. So for rouse checks, doesn't matter. Uh, You get 6 through 10, or your clan symbol, or the Onks on the hunger dice. You succeed your rouse check. 5 or less, or the blank spaces are the skulls, or the skulls on the hunger dice is a fail. Now, we're going to go ahead. I'm going to branch this off into just covering the dice in general. Just because there's... we'll say the one thing about the V5 system is when they they really wanted to pitch using the symbols, things with the numbers got a little wonky, and so now everyone's like, okay, well, we're using the symbols now on these dice. Well, what do they mean? So on the regular dice, you've got, yep, exactly, and that's why we're covering it. So, just to reiterate, on the official Vampire the Masquerade dice, your blank sides. I'm just gonna rotate around here. Your blank sides like that, and that, would be 2 through 5 on a normal dice. They blank sides count for nothing. Don't worry about them. Ignore them completely. The Onks represent the numbers 6 through 9 on the normal dice. Okay. And then your in this case here, it'd be the Ankh with the stars on the normal dice. On these level up, I'm using the fancy schmancy level up aluminum dice. They use the clan symbol, but otherwise on the normal vampire dice, they'd be your clans, or they'd be the Ankhs with the stars. Okay, those are 10s. Now, when totaling successes, 6 through 9, it's just they count as one success. 10s, or the Ankh with the stars, those you only have to worry about them in pairs. Okay, they don't count for anything. Except, well, I mean, here, let me rephrase that. They count for normal successes, but when you've got 2 of those dice showing, that is a critical. And criticals, instead of a pair of 2, criticals actually multiply, so then you would have 4 successes instead of 2 successes like you would normally count. So if you're rolling and you've got just one of them and then like 2 other successes showing, all right, you rolled 3 successes, nothing fancy, just a normal plain Jane 3 success win. Now, if you've got 2 of those critical markers and then 1 more success, well, you've got 1 success for, the regular dice. Well, those 2 crits then count as 4. Here, actually in frame. So that would actually count for 5 total. Now, we're gonna play in the hunger dice into this, okay? Since the original question kind of hinged on the hunger dice in the first place. So, on the level up dice, it would be the on your hunger die here, it would be the clan symbol with the fang markers, or Um, it'd be the Ankh with the fang markers on the standard vampire dice, or a 10 on whatever dice you're using for, like, if you're using numbered dice, you would use that instead. And then when you are counting those up, if you would get one of these with, or get a 10 on your hunger die, or get a crit on your hunger die, and then a crit on a normal die, that is a messy crit. And then what that actually, you know what? I'm gonna double back, and I'm gonna cover that here, or cover that second part later. But that's basically, your beast helps influence you. You win in incredible fashion, but it's gonna have it's like a monkey paw effect. Now, the bestial failure, this would be the skull on the hunger dice. Let me find it here. There we be. So, on rouse checks, once again, to double back, rouse checks, these don't count for anything. Don't worry about them. But if you were to roll to, let's say, you were going to roll to stab somebody, dex and melee, or strength and melee, depending on, circumstances. You have a pool of 5. You roll. You get no successes on your standard, but you get but you get the skull with no other successes showing. That is a bestial failure, and that is basically your beast taking control, and totally ruining your day. And that's going to be up to the storyteller. So seems like I was rambling. The dice are a little confusing, and by all means, the person who sent that, if you want me to go over that again with you privately, I'm more than happy to do so. All right. So, and then just a reminder, if there's any questions, the rest of these are going to go by relatively quick. That first one was kind of a doozy. That was kind of complicated. I wanted to get that out of the way. The rest of these are going to go by relatively quickly. So if you've got a question that you want answered in chat, go ahead, drop it, and I'm more than happy to get it covered for you. All right, so can you only feed on your predator-type victims? But not too quickly. Oh, no, I know how to pace this. Don't worry. Now, that's actually a good question. Whether you were let's say, a cleaver, which would be where you would, feed on members of a family unit of some kind that you try to blend in on. If you, let's say you were a cleaver, and you're out and about, and someone offers you, oh, do you want to drink from this vessel, and it would be considered a social faux pas to not do so. There's different tables are going to have different house rules to cover this. The standard that I've kind of seen is you have to basically make a willpower roll to feed outside of your preference, and then it's kind of dependent on, like, all right, well, you might need 3 successes, to be able to feed from to take one hunger point from this person. So there's no hard and fast rule is written on that one. But it's gonna vary from table to table. That's what we use in Martlet here, and that seems to be the standard. But if you're gonna be getting into a new game with Storyteller, it's always best just to double check and ask. Now, this was one I actually had to look up. Because this was one of the bigger mechanic changes from previous. Okay, let me see here. It's like drinking from a juice box when you prefer apple juice, but they only have orange juice. Yeah, that's that's actually a pretty decent analogy there. So yeah, definitely roll with that. So they did change how the blood bond works in, excuse me. There we go. Just double checking something. So yeah, they did change how the blood bond works in V5, and that was what I had to look up. Let me get a drink. All right, so the blood bond is we'll say a supernatural state of existence where a kindred has fed someone their vitae, and you getting a drink is feeding within your Yep, there. Yes, coffee. Thank you. But the blood bond is supposed to instill a sense of loyalty and devotion, and depending on the context, love, especially if there was there are circumstances where kindred can be mutually bound together. It's called a blood wedding or a blood marriage. Now, mechanically, the blood bond takes time to set up. The bond is not totally permanent, or not. I shouldn't say permanent, but it isn't like locked in until after you've fed from a kindred over 3 nights within or a year between feedings. Yes, the blood bond topic. Yes, indeed. So, I'll kind of double back since this was actually Lex's question here. So, I have to figure out how to double back to this. All right, so the blood bond instills a sense of feeling, devotion, loyalty, and love. And it takes 3 feedings to get it set in place. And it can't be and if you go more than a year between feedings, the bond basically fizzles. Okay. But after your 3rd feeding, your bond is locked in. And from there, it starts to accrue points. And the points are dependent on how many times you've fed from the kindred. Sometimes the storyteller might work in the blood potency of the individual to kind of help fiddle around with that. But that bond rating 1 to 6 is basically your set difficulty to act in your own self-interest against your Domador. The kindred in control of you. So let's say Vancouver adjacent. We'll use Charlie and Elena for an example. Charlie has fed from Elena once on screen, twice on screen, maybe. I honestly can't remember how many times. Someone would have to double check that for me. But the if they've only fed twice, or if Charlie's only fed from Elena twice, the bond technically isn't there yet. After that third feeding, though, the bond gets locked in, and then Charlie would not be able to act in his own self-interest if it went contrary to an order or instruction, or even just against the very idea of the Domador. But so you would roll your willpower versus the bond strength to determine if you were able to act, and the number of successes determines where you land on that, how long you can resist. And then that each point of that fades 1 month between. So if it's been over a month since your last feeding, 1 point of that drops off. Once again, Lex, I could probably go over that with you in a private chat if you needed more clarification. So, what's the difference between messy versus critical success or botch, both in terms of mechanics and in terms of what happens in character? Excellent. So I actually I covered this earlier at the beginning, Lex, kind of, but the difference between a messy crit and a regular critical would be your hunger dice. And let me go ahead and grab. So I'm using the level up dice. Okay. To show you the symbols. Otherwise, this would be like the 10s on like your normal numbered dice, or the onks with the stars or fangs on the regular hunger dice. Okay. So you've got, on the level up dice, you've got the, I have to look in my OBS here, actually. There we go. So you've got the onks. Okay. All right, or you would have the onks with the stars on the regular hunger dice. These are the clan symbols on the level up dice. And then on the hunger, it'd be the onk with the fangs. Or in this case, with the level up dice, it's the clan symbol with the fangs. So two 10s. I'm just going to refer to them as 10s now. Okay, just to simplify. All right, so 2 10s on your regular dice is just a crit. You succeeded very, very well. You've got 4 successes plus whatever other successes you scored to go towards your action. And if you were to then... Yes, you're welcome. Yes. See, I try to get with the times, Cliff, but it's just so 10s, which is 10s. So now, if you get a 10 on your hunger dice and a 10 on a regular dice, or your other standard, or your hunger dice, that is a messy crit. So you still succeed very, very well, but your beast influences your actions. The thing that I like using as a prime example is, let's say you're rolling Dex and Stealth to sneak past a security guard, and you've got a pool of, we'll say 3 dice. Okay? On those 3 dice, one of them is a hunger die. Okay, so you got 2 normal dice and then a red die. You roll a 10 on a normal die, or rather, both of your normal die come up as 10s, and the hunger die, didn't come up a 10 either. That is just a regular crit. You sneak past the security guard with flying colors. You might even have a little bit of an advantage going forward. Now, on those 3 dice again, we're going to re-roll it. You get a 10 on a hunger die and a 10 on a regular die. That is a messy crit. That is your beast coming to the forefront and controlling your actions or influencing your actions in some way. So you might get down, get stealthy, and, try sneaking past the security guard, but then you get compelled to go and rip out the security guard's throat. Okay, well, yeah, you can sneak past the guard, but you just killed somebody. And now you've got a body and at least one humanity stain to deal with. So that's where the difference comes into play. You gotta just think of your hunger dice as your beast influencing your actions. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And everything's always circumstantial. It just depends on what's going on, time and place. Okay. All right, so here's another good one. Can you only learn out-of-clan disciplines by feeding on someone who has them now? Or can they still be taught without blood? Ignoring thin bloods. All right, so rules is written. Okay, let me see here. Let me follow up with your question here, Lex. Since you're here and that was yours, let me follow up with you. What happens if you have, say, 2 regular 10s and the angry face on the blood die, which is, I'm assuming, the equivalent of a 1? That doesn't matter. The 1 on your hunger dice only matters if you have no successes on any of your other roll, or any of your other dice when you roll. So we'll double back to that security guard. So out of that 3 dice, you get, you get nothings or nothing on your regular dice, and then you get a skull on your hunger dice. Well, that is a bestial failure. That is your beast then intentionally and purposefully sabotaging you. Or somehow, you getting your just desserts for being a blood-sucking, evil, undead creature of the night. That's how the bestial failures work. And every storyteller is going to do something different with their setups. I don't want to. Yeah, that was. Pardon my Brad Dourif. Yes, that would be 4 successes critical. That is very, very correct. Thank you, Sarah, for coming in and, yes, pitching that. Awesome. So, there. Anyways, we're gonna go back to the blood thing. Now, or the discipline thing. So, rules is written. You cannot learn a out-of-clan discipline without drinking from another kindred who also has that discipline. So, if Harley wanted to learn presence, he would have to drink from Cassandra or Charlotte. They both will A, have presence, and B, even if they didn't, the blood, or no, that's correct. No. All you got to do is drink from someone of that bloodline who has that discipline, and then you can unlock that. Or Connor, yes, good point. Um, yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, but yes, screw Connor. Uh, so that being the case, Harley cannot just spontaneously learn presence on his own. He has to drink from. Actually, no. They do have to have the discipline already like active. So, or like in they have to have dots in the discipline in order to like actually pass it on. I believe. I'll have to double check that one. But anyways, you have to drink from the kindred, and then you can start spending experience on that. Now, once again, house rules. House rules are gonna vary. Different storytellers are gonna do different things. Um, but other than that, that is the only other way to pick up a out of clan discipline at the beginning. Is going to be at character creation with your predator type. Uh, that still technically counts as out of clan as far as experience expenditure, but you do not have to drink from anybody to buff that up. You already kind of like passively pick that up because of your natural vampiric ability. Um, Now the last thing that I wanna go back on here. Uh, I'm generally let me see. I'm just reading this question. Uh, so the voice in your head thing. Uh, the that like when the beast is talking to you, that actually does not have any mechanical bearing on the game. That has, and in fact, there's nothing in the rule book saying that the internal dialogue with the beast has to happen. That was very much flavor that Jason Carl infused into LA by night, and that just kind of like spread. So uh, that like I honestly don't think I could play in a live game that would not have, or play in an actual play. I don't think I could do that without the beast dialogue. I think that adds extra flavor, and uh, I mean it's not necessary, but it is uh, it's fluff that would be missed if it just like stopped happening. So yeah, there's nothing mechanical with the voice with the beast's voice in your head. That's for fluff and flavor, and making it makes for extra uh, dramatic moments. So home stretch here, we've got a couple of we'll say these are some more esoteric questions as I go through third puberty. There we go. All right, so um, as an ST, what do you consider when selecting players? Um, there's I don't know that's kind of an interesting subject when it comes to like private games. It's always just, hey, do I like hanging out with this individual? Do I like playing with this person? Is this fun? Um, there's definitely I've been a tabletop player ever since I was a kid, and um, I've run into a lot of different individuals over my time, and I can definitely say that there are people that I would never, you could not pay me to play with them ever again. Um, just really bad, disruptive RP, and I can usually get like if I'm joining a group blind, I usually have things kind of like pegged within the first two sessions on whether or not I'm going to stay or not. But if it's a game that I myself am running, uh, it's are we going to be able to collectively have fun in a private home game? Now, as far as stuff for public consumption, like the actual plays and the live streams, uh, that uh, like I initially started like Martlet as kind of a this was a home game online with Sarah and Steve. Um, I thoroughly enjoy working with Sarah professionally and creatively, and she's been pretty ride or die for over a decade now, and we clicked creatively outside of gaming, and so we started up the home or the online home game with her and Steve, and that's just kind of like how Martlet grew. So I initially was thinking, okay, this group is we all have great creative chemistry. We all know where to pick up where the other one leaves off. Um, not and that's not even necessarily counting like in game. That's like outside when we're working on projects. Uh, we've got a good flow. Now, when I go and I'm organizing um, other things, uh, like with home games, it's just yeah, am I gonna have fun? That's what it boils down to, and that generally carries over into the professional, playcasting stuff too. So, can I have fun, and do we have good creative energy, chemistry? Have you learned something from playing with other vampire STs? Holy shit, this is a loaded question. Hi, Sarah. Uh, yeah, I've told Sarah privately that I have a very tough act to follow. Uh, I actually consider Sarah to be the better storyteller when it comes to a lot of stuff. So yeah, I've she 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 was the sleeper, and now I've got to step my game up. Her the level of creativity and organization and descriptive qualities that her games have, uh yeah, the I have some work to do. I've learned some things playing with Sarah. And then since Steve's in here, some things that I've learned from Steve is you just gotta let go and let the chaos take you every once in a while. Uh, oh, hi. Well, hey, thanks for coming in. Hi, roll. It is appreciated. It's all good. Thank you. Um, so here's a good one. Here's a good one. How do you handle a disruptive player? Um, I it's been a while. Well, see, no. Here, let me qualify my response a little bit more, Steve. No, because yeah, that didn't. No, you are your storytelling style. It's hands off, but you you're the type of storyteller that lets us make the rope that we're going to hang ourselves with. Okay. That's about the best way that I can describe your storytelling style. And you're like a snake in the grass. You've got things lined up, ready to rock and roll, and you're yeah, we feed off of each other. Exactly. Exactly. Where's the lie? No, and no. So no, that's no, Steve. I never want to imply that you are lazy and don't care about the game because you do. I never want to give that impression. Um, no, Steve does an amazing job with us. Yeah. But so anyways, how to handle a disruptive player. Uh there's uh there's been a few instances where I have had to um I I've had to privately set someone aside, and I've had to tell him like, look, um you are really creeping everyone else at the table out. You need to stop with they had a very uh stalkery kind of character, and it got to be a bit much, and so it just had to tell him, look, you need to tone this down. If we need to rework your character a little bit, that's fine. And then I got the I'm the usual. I'm playing my character how I want to play my character, or I'm playing my character how they would act shtick. Um, and that line right there is usually enough to get me to instantly uh, dislike your playstyle. Um, and to just basically like write you off as a creative individual, because there's a there's a right place and time to use your character's motivations to act like a selfish, murderous, nasty, amoral, fucking horrible person. And then there's another to use that as a justification to act like an asshole. Um, but flat out, I told that individual, like, you need to tone this down, or you're not going to be. This was a college game, actually, back in the day, and I said, like, you're not going to be allowed in club, if this is going to continue. You're making individual. You never want. I want to. I want to circle back around. You never want to. If another player has approached you about someone, you never want to include that individual in the discussions. It's as a storyteller, it is your job and responsibility to be the mediator, to handle that, um, which is why I get very particular about who I play with, because I don't I don't want to spend more time than necessary doing the emotional I don't want to say coddling, but I don't want to have to walk on eggshells. There, that's yes. Um, Now handling a shy player, trying to get them included. That is something you want to be very very careful with as a storyteller. You never want to force that player to uh, have their character act or participate if they don't want them to. Uh, if you are concerned, like let's say you've been trying to feed this individual, plenty of opportunity to participate in session, to join in, uh, how do you how do you get it from there? Well, you just talk to him privately. You're like, look, I want to make sure that you are comfortable in this space. I want to make sure that you are getting out of this what you are expecting, and excuse me. I want to make sure that you are comfortable with where things are going. You don't seem to be participating all that much. Just want to make sure. And then from there, that's kind of where you feel things out. Like, oh well, I'm fine. I'm fine. Okay. You don't want to push the issue. If you might have an introvert that likes to sit there and just be around other people, but don't they're not comfortable with participating, and this is their way to do it. They might occasionally roll some dice every once in a while, but otherwise they're perfectly content to just sit there in good company. So you never want to force the issue, and you always want to make sure that you are giving that individual the place to the place to express their feelings without having to worry about it getting back to anybody. Give me 1 second here. I know there was a question that I missed somewhere earlier. And it had to do with, yeah, I know I'm missing a question somewhere. I have DMs and emails and tweets everywhere, but I know it had to deal with what I do personally to come down from a really intense session, and this is actually a really good place to kind of like close this off before we go to raid into Vancouver. Um, yes, yes. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Um, but we, especially in the Vancouver adjacent game, we get into some pretty gnarly shit. Not gonna lie. Uh, London's Bleeding. We get into some pretty gnarly, like the the we've got a bit coming up in London's Bleeding. That's probably the heaviest. It was the longest and heaviest half hour of my entire life. Comes up in the next episode, and yes, I was shook too. I was, and I'm even getting. Yeah, I'm having I'm having I'm having some issues even thinking about it right now. It was that heavy, but it was that good. Um, Let me take a look at this. Exactly, exactly. So definitely I'm doubling back to what Lex just said here. As a fellow introvert, and I mean, you know, everyone should be able to read it here, but as a fellow introvert, you know, it just takes some time. And by all means, yeah, if you get into a game, you're on session 3, and someone hasn't really gotten their feet wet yet, that might be the time to, you know, just say, hey, just double checking, making sure that you're comfortable in the space, and go from there. But approach it, just take their temperature and move on. If they say they're good, move on. Just keep an eye out. Check back in after another 3 or 4 sessions. But so there's the after hours vibe check, or the after session vibe checks are absolutely ungodly important and vital. Um, the after the after the next London's Bleeding episode, I think, yeah, the vibe check lasted quite a bit, and then I actually hung around with Sarah after, and her and I both kind of had a little meltdown. Things got pretty intense that session, and um, it's nice bonding and commiserating with people that you play with, as long as everyone has the mental bandwidth. Yeah. That led to some really exactly. Yeah, and everyone's popping off in chat with some really good nuggets here. This is amazing. Some days you just don't have it in you. Exactly. There were actually there were a couple of times during when we were recording London's Bleeding, to where it was like we flat out were like, none of us have the mental processing ability or emotional, you know, the emotional capacity to role play tonight. We are done. You know, it's been a long week. You know, we just didn't have it. So yeah, I think I've covered everything that I wanted to primarily cover, but yeah, the aftercare, even if it's just a little quick 5-minute vibe check, if it was just a general, like, oh yeah, this was a good scene, or this was a good session. But yeah, if we had even during Adjacent, during London's Bleeding, having some really heavy duty shit, yeah, the aftercare sessions on Zoom with everybody are absolutely fucking vital and important. I am a Spoonie. Yep. I like bandwidth. I'm a techie guy. I like bandwidth. Oh, hey. Well, thank you very much, 8-Bit Cleric, for the follow there. Hello there, 8-Bit Cleric. I do not know who you are. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate this. Thanks for following. So my coffee is gone, almost. My coffee is gone. It's been this was actually a really good first trip out with office hours. It is time for raids. Yes. So today we are kicking off the Saturday Vampire Takeover. We are going to be reading into Vancouver by Night. Who their episode this week, they've got a special guest. Who I will let you all see that here coming up right quick. And Fun Size Spaz, thank you for bopping in. Appreciate the. Oh, and I'm glad to be of assistance. But yeah, we've got Vancouver by Night coming up. which will then raid into Vancouver Adjacent by night, which will then raid into Philly by night, which will then raid into, I have no idea, but basically for the next, we'll say for the next 12 hours, it's nothing but vampire. Nothing but vampire. So, thank you all for stopping in. This is definitely going to continue being a thing. This spot will eventually, like office hours, I see moving into a different time slot, and then we'll move a different program into this slot once it's ready. Sarah had a really hilarious idea that we want to do things with. So, okay. Okay, you stream with Prince William by night. Oh, awesome! Hey, definitely. Oh yeah, we're raiding into some New Zealand games. Yeah, 8-bit cleric, definitely. Let's drop some stuff. So there's my link tree. Get plugged in to the YouTubes and everything. And then yeah, just for anyone else bopping along on the stream, it's shameless self-promotion time. I'm sorry. There's our Patreon. Yahtzee! And then here, yeah, well, why not? Oh, definitely. We are all about that, and I will definitely I'll be in touch. I'll be in touch with you. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna raid into Vancouver by night. Yahtzee! Oh, hey, thank you, Carrying Comfort, for the resub. Appreciate the love. Yay! Alright. Oh, love your face, too. Alright, and Vancouver by night. Alright, the hashtag is gonna be... the hashtag is Big Jude Energy. Big Jude Energy. Have a good one, everybody. Enjoy. See you next week.